Welcome back to Paranormal Papa Podcast, episode 51, coming to you from Ferocious Feline Studios in Cassopolis, Michigan. Hey kids, it's Papa, and it's another early morning. I do not know why, but for some reason, I was wide-eyed at 2:50 this morning. It's now 3:15. I got a warm pot of coffee, and first day off, and all I wanted to do was sleep. You know, for the last couple weeks, we've really been concentrating on those teams that are made up of very young, attractive, determined investigators. And I've not lacked voicing my opinion on how people see them, the dangers that they face, not just from the living impaired, but from the living as well. It can get scary out there. I've had men with me at an investigation that have freaked out or I've had men at investigations with me that have really got frightened when strangers have approached us, like this one.
Yeah, right up here.
What's going on?
Just paranormal investigation.
Excuse me? What are you doing up here?
Just a paranormal investigation. Ghost hunt.
Huh?
Ghost hunt. Just trying to see what's out here.
Are you looking for deer?
No.
Need your name, please.
I don't need to give you my name.
You're not supposed to be on near a cemetery like this.
Okay, so move along.
What?
Please and thank you.
We've never heard that before. I've been doing this for 2 years.
Are you shining for deer?
No.
No.
We have paranormal equipment out here. Ghost hunt equipment.
That makes no sense. There is no such thing.
Well, then don't worry about what we're doing and you just go along with what you were doing.
You are near private property also.
Near.
I'm not on.
You're fine. You can go ahead and leave now.
No, this is my property.
Well, if this is this cemetery is not your property.
Exactly, but this property is.
We're not on that property.
I am on my property.
Well, then leave us alone. Thank you. Go ahead.
That's fine. We've been out here before.
You have no business here.
You, just like you don't?
We're not on your property.
I don't give a shit. I don't trust anyone here. So get your shit and go. Where'd you come from?
My mom?
Where's your vehicle?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
No.
You're shining for deer. That's illegal.
You don't even have guns.
camera.
We're shining for deer with phones and cameras?
And you're looking for ghosts?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Here. Here, wait. You got the bright light. Look.
I can't see shit.
But the dangers that a young woman faces, or a team of young women, it can get scary and it can get bad. You know, since the beginning of this channel, I have told you guys how much I love Crystal Leandra, the ghost girl, queen of the dead. She, well, not so recently, but an old friend of hers, Kat, popped in and had a conversation with her about the dangers to women in the paranormal. And I couldn't think of a better way to end this week than to check it out. They cover a lot of stuff during this interview, during this discussion. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
Welcome, brave souls, to another haunting chapter of Ghost Girl Diaries, where the supernatural awaits, transmitting from the other side, where paranormal meets glamour. I'm your host this evening, Crystal Leandra, the Queen of the Dead, a paranormal filmmaker and investigator, and the glam behind the ghost hunt. Here we dive into spine-chilling hauntings, explore the unknown, and uncover the secrets across the most haunted locations in the world. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, you're in for a thrill. So grab your EMF meter, your crystals, and your cross, because things are about to get supernatural, with a little bit of glam. Let's get haunted. This is Ghost Girl Diaries. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel, the podcast. We're back again with Kat this week. Oh my God, she's back for a number 2. Well, that didn't sound right, did it?
Numero dos.
Sorry about that. Woo, just too overly zealous over here. Woo,
Never a dull
Let's
moment.
It's been a rough month. Let's just be honest, okay?
Yeah, it's been a hurdle. There's been a lot thrown at the paranormal community. It's nuts.
Everything I have learned this month is against my will. Jesus.
I think it just blows the expectations that everybody had within this community, and this was just totally swept out of left field, like completely. I did see recently that it looks like Holly Madsen's following you now.
Oh, okay. You're gonna call
We're
me
just
out
gonna
on
jump
it.
right in.
Kat's not holding back.
We're not holding back.
She's on the
We're gonna just get to the breadcrumbs of this here and just feast. We're gonna feast.
Yeah, somebody sent her, a mutual sent her last week's podcast, and she listened to the podcast, and she started following me and reached out, and extremely healing and cathartic. I can't really, I'm not going to go into details because that's obviously private, but it was really nice to know that I was valid in my experience without, going into detail. Because clearly this is a tactic that's used, or, it's happened to other people before. So, which is just kind of proof of, don't remain silent if you go through something. Don't be scared. Don't let men intimidate you into a corner, because if I wouldn't have spoken out, I probably wouldn't have connected with her and felt she's very intelligent. Honestly, she's, I don't know anything about Girls Next Door. I've never really watched it. I was a little young for that era. And, but she's like really cool. He fumbled the bag. She's actually like hella cool, honestly. Yeah, she's really cool. So, but I really also hope that she can heal, and like she deserves way more than everything I've learned against my will this month. Everything I've learned has been against my will this month.
Yeah, I just can't imagine, being with someone that long and figuring all of this out after the fact. I mean, and community's everything, so if there's anything that was cathartic about this situation that seems to be ongoing right now, is the fact that you guys have each other to be able to talk this stuff out and really clear the air and communicate, in a way that is probably healthier than how things were communicated to them in the past to have everyone against each other.
I think she's trying to right wrongs. Like, she didn't do anything, obviously. You know what I mean? But I think she feels a sense of responsibility, which is crazy because, she's just a really good soul. She's just a really good soul. So it was really nice that I got to hear from her and, understand that it wasn't necessarily a me issue. It was a manipulation issue and silencing women, which is why this podcast today is going to be so good because this has just been so ongoing. It's weird because, like, I knew this month was going to be tough for me individually, but, like, in a different way because, like, I was planning on coloring my hair. I did it on April 30th officially. And then the actual process, it took me like a week to get my hair colored red. And my guides kept saying to me, you're going to walk through a one-way portal when you color your hair and you can't look back. They kept saying that. I kept telling Kat that. And I was like, Kat knows about my rebirths. And poor Kat, sorry. Kat knows about all these. But, with this one, I knew it was going to be different. And it's like resurrection. They kept saying it was resurrection, which, when you go through rebirths and resurrection, your guides and your spirit team will sort of destroy your 3D around you completely. And they're not trying to hurt you. And by the way, nothing happened bad, but everything around me has started to become demolished, right? And which to me is a sign that they're maybe preparing me for a move. They're preparing me for the next book, the next chapter. And they sort of have to give you these clear visions of everything around you so that when you go to the next phase of your life, you don't look back. And boy, did that happen this month.
Yeah, that was... I feel like I'm still ruminating on all of this and just baffled completely. But you have overcome every obstacle. And I remember when you finished coloring your hair, you telling me, like, I feel like me. I, like, feel very comfortable right now, in who you are as an individual and what you will and will not stand for and what you will speak out on. And you've always been that way, but I feel like it was like at a new tier, when it came to the rebirth and all of that. So,
well, you've been through contract negotiations with me, so you know what it's like firsthand. Not a lot of people in paranormal understand the production side of it, where you've seen first, literally, you've been on the Zoom calls and the phone calls with me when we were in negotiations with Amazon. And, producers, production companies are, especially the networks, are not nice. They're not nice people. And I have always been really tough because I understand how to negotiate. I understand the legalities behind it. And I think that now, I didn't see this before. How long have you been with me? 2016? Something like that?
I think it's been 26 years.
Feels like it.
No, I think it's been 8 years now.
So, and I've been doing this clearly since 2011, right? And I didn't know before. I didn't see the whole thing before, but I understand it, especially after this month and how we've seen sort of the apocalypse of the paranormal community come down.
Yeah.
But I realize now that I am a huge threat to the boys in paranormal. I am a huge threat because Amy Bruni is really the only female that has EP experience.
True.
And I'm almost even more of a threat than that because I've negotiated with every network and I've been under multiple production companies. So Amy's had a couple, like she did obviously Ghost Hunters Academy. I think she was a part of that for a little bit. And obviously her show with Adam, she's worked with Chip a lot, but I have been I really know the ins and outs of not only paranormal but production, and I didn't realize until now how much of a threat I am. And especially after this month, you know, when I recorded that podcast last week with you, honest to God, the only reason that I had that discussion about me apparently stalking somebody was because I wanted to take my power back. Yeah. My voice was used as a tool to show and prove that you can't push me into a corner. I'm not afraid of you. Mm. I think that most women would not share that they were accused of stalking because men in particular want to make you feel intimidated. Yeah. And that they have power over you. Mm-hmm. And a lot of women would be scared of the way that their image looked. Mm. But I'm not scared easily, honestly, ever, because I've sat with men at tables that throw million. I mean, discuss your experience a little bit with Amazon. I mean, it's tough to get through, isn't it?
Yeah, you've really got to have a tough skin and learn to be criticized in any and all level in every aspect of your life. And, you know, the main reason for that is because should have something been signed, you know, they kind of like own you in a sense, you know, the network does. So you kind of have to go with whatever they say and do. And there are a couple of moments in negotiations that I remember you and I were having conversations. And I remember distinctly saying, like, you know, it's hard. Like, this is a very hard experience and like lifestyle, especially when you're going to that next level with networks and being told that you're something when you're not. You know, and that's why, you know, speaking your truth and being your authentic self is most important, even when people are saying that you did something else or that you're doing something else, because it's not your truth and that's allowed to be heard. The truth is allowed to be heard.
You have to be tough as nails. I mean, I hope you don't mind me sharing this because I think that it's raw and important to be vulnerable with the audience, but when that was your first major negotiation. Like, I know you'd been in contract with me previous to that. That was the first one where I was like, okay, I think you're ready to sit in on it. And you cried. I cried. Not in front of the producers, but you cried.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy and cutthroat. And it was after that experience that there was kind of a part of me that was like itching for more. I wanted to have more experiences. Like, I wanted to take it to the next level. I wanted to be like, let's prove them wrong. Let's do this better than ever. And it does almost become like this, you know, almost a competition with yourself in a sense. And how can I make myself bigger and better to, you know, prove something? But the truth is at the end of the day, you really only have everything to prove to yourself and no one else. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important lesson.
I told you, I was like, don't cry. But that's the problem is that you're negotiating with men 99% of the time. And they know that they can fear and intimidate women. And I'm talking on like the film production side as well. And because I have so much experience under my belt, I don't back down, and I'm not scared to say, hey, I actually don't like that. Hey, I don't agree with that. And that does take a certain level of confidence. And I didn't realize until now that I've always been a threat. It's scary for men in power with money and control, especially with this industry of paranormal, because it is like a small little community in a way, in a sense. And when a woman comes in who's above average, beautiful and knowledgeable, intelligent, and knows what she's talking about, she is now a threat. She is a straight up threat. And everyone has to say, how do we take her out? How do we take her down? Oh, is it? So, the resurrection portal I went through was crazy. May has been crazy. I really just cannot wait till June 1st to come around. And luckily for these boys in paranormal, though, you know, I really do have some dark moon Lilith placements. I know Kat's into astrology too. And I have a dark Lilith placement. It's conjunct with Venus in my 10th house. And it's a very dark placement. I have 5 placements in Aries, but specifically that. But, you know, one thing with dark moon Lilith being conjunct Venus and Mercury, like mine, is like you have to not be afraid to speak out. Stand up for not only yourself, but the wrongs that needed to be right. And, you know, it's weird because after my mom's death and experiencing something so horrific, like I've said this before, but honest to God, there's nothing anyone can do that will hurt me worse than what that woman did by taking her life. And it's dark. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I literally talk all the time. Like, no, I walked through the underworld alone, you know, like I had to survive that very isolated and alone. and make the choice to stay. And I finally got back up and I told everybody I was gonna, which is what's happening right now. And I'm not gonna ever back down. Like, I'm someone not to mess with after what I've experienced. I have really witnessed the darkest side of humanity. I've walked through my own healing journey, which almost didn't make it several times. So if some EP thinks he's gonna swoop in and try to take me out, there's a fire under this hair that's gonna have him be shocked for what's coming next.
The hair is the moment. The hair is the mood.
It is. And that's, partially why I did color my hair, was because of witches burned in the stake in the past. Honest to God, that was one of the reasons. I feel like destroying the paranormal community today. Do you want to do it with me?
Let's do it. It's time.
I just feel like it's time to just set the whole thing on fire. I didn't do it. I didn't set this on fire. Somebody else did.
And I feel like it's been like teetering on the edge of, things being exposed and discussed and mistruths and all of that. But now that, the crown is falling, I think it's just time for any and all truth to be discussed openly.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. So I'm going to talk about, all the contracts I've been through. And we're not going to go through each one. I'm going to generalize it. And there's two reasons. But if you do not want your favorite paranormal shows ruined, then don't watch this. I'm going to start with that preface.
Leave now.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, leave now. Go.
Yeah.
Kat's been in negotiate. You're looking at two producers who've been signed with major networks. I've been signed too many effing times, but that's beside the point. So I'm going to tell you what goes on behind the scenes. And these are secrets I have never shared before, because I've been keeping secrets for people, and I don't think we need to keep them anymore. So if you're sensitive and you love your paranormal shows and you don't want them ruined, I would probably jet now, okay? So a lot of questions people always ask me is two things. Why have I not signed my series? And there are two major reasons why I have not settled on a series that I could not negotiate my way out of. One is, and this is with every single network, every single contract, okay? If I would have signed the series Ghost Girl Diaries, that title, and let's say that we got past the 3-season hump, okay? Let's say we had successfully got past that, but then we get into season 5, kind of like Dakota, and then they cancel it, okay? Something that's always in the contract is if the series gets canceled, they get to keep and obtain the name. You cannot take the name with you. I was always devastated by that because I've worked so hard for the title Ghost Girl Diaries. It is mine. I own it. And why would I just hand that over? And that was something I could never negotiate out of the contract. So that's one reason. The second thing that I could never negotiate my way out of was the control of post-production, which to me is the most crucial part, right? Because like Kat and I can go on set, we can have all this paranormal evidence, it was haunted as hell, but if post-production walks in and screws it up and I don't have control over it, that our entire credibility is gone.
Yeah, it's a very meticulous process that's really important within the paranormal community because, validity is everything, in evidence.
So what I'm telling you is every single show that's out there is controlled by the production company and network. If they don't think there's enough evidence in the post-production section when it's ready to be, sent to the network for airing, they will add more evidence. They will exaggerate evidence one way or another, okay? So I'm sorry to bust it for you, but that's just a fact. And that I've had that experience with every single network I've been with. And I've been with all of them, including streaming networks, and they all say the same thing. What happens if there's not enough evidence when you're filming and you go into post-production? I was like, I've never had that experience because I always go to haunted locations. So I've always had evidence. But what if there isn't? What if we need more? So what they're saying is the network has the last say. And if they think it needs more evidence or something needs to be louder or fixed, you have no say in it. And that is across the board. I said what I said. Don't ask me questions on, but what about this person? No, I said what I said.
Yeah.
That's clear, right?
It is. Very.
The second thing that I'm about to destroy is evidence on Paranormal Challenge was faked. And I have been keeping that secret for a very, very long time. And essentially what happened was the first one, we were in the hallway. The second floor, we were filming. It was me and my crew. It was 3 of us. I was not holding a camera. Garrison had a camera, a night vision, and Aaron had a camera. And we were waiting for Chris Fleming to come up, okay? And I don't know where Zach was. I don't know where he was. But the producers were down the hallway, okay? And they were filming us. They were quiet. They were watching us, and we had our own cameras. But we started hearing a strange noise coming out of somewhere. And Garrison and Aaron were quite skeptical. And, like, they really wanted to debunk stuff. And we're in the hallway, and Garrison's like, dude, I just hear something strange. I just hear something weird, and it doesn't sound right. He's like, this doesn't sound paranormal to me. So Garrison drops to the floor. He finds a cord. He traces the cord on the wall and finds out that it's plugged into a speaker, and the speaker is making, like, ghost noises coming out of it.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't use that as evidence. Obviously. But what's the validity then behind everyone involved with that series? Does that automatically are they all frauds?
Right. It makes everyone look bad.
Yep. Everyone involved in that series looks bad now. Then we had a section leader where each team could have basically an alien camera. It's where it comes up in front of you, and it, like, records your reaction. So I think Zach chose the 2 leaders. I was a lead, and then this other guy was a lead, I think. And the other white guy on the team. And so they hooked us all up to these alien cams, and they sent us down. And they basically said we could go anywhere in the hotel that we wanted to go because we had no crew with us. We were by ourselves. And it was nighttime. And I got stopped in the hallway by Dave Schrader on the way down. And Dave told, but at the time it wasn't but anyway. Right. he actually gave me some advice. He goes, hey, this is the Jerome Grant Hotel. This is where the elevator came down. And I don't know if you remember the episode of Ghost Adventures where it almost landed on Zach, and then Chris Altier pulled him out. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
So Dave was like, I'm going to tell you something because you're a girl. He goes, I do not want you to jump down in the elevator shaft. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, I'm scared that Zach might play a trick or someone might play a trick on you because you're the girl and they want you to scream. And he goes, I would hate for you to get hurt or something happens to you.
Wow.
So he was warning me. So I was like, okay, I won't go down in the elevator. So the other guy did go down inside of the elevator shaft. And I thought, oh God, I hope they don't turn it on him. I'd hate to die via elevator, But I ended up going into this area in this back room. And it was an area where they've had several maintenance men die inside of there. One guy shot himself. One guy was Claude Harvey. He's the one that died under suspicious circumstances but was found dead under the elevator. And then there was another guy that hung himself in this, like, closeted, like, office, okay? And for some reason, I wanted to go back there. And I'm by myself, no camera crew, and I'm going and go back there. Now, you can ask Kat. I really don't get scared when I'm investigating because I've always had one foot in this realm and one foot in the other realm. Do you know what I'm saying? So it really takes a lot for me to scream or get scared. I just don't even jump, honest to God. I just don't. Like, Kat's seen me, like, in person, like, she'll, like, oh my God, like, there was a crawler, and I'm like, oh yeah, where was it? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to be cool. Yeah. I just don't get affected. I just don't get affected. So I'm in this room, and I'm looking up, because there's, like, these huge, like, pull things, which is where he supposedly hung the rope and, like, unalived himself or whatever. And so I'm back in this area, and all of a sudden I hear, like, moaning. And I hear, like, my name, like, Crystal. But like, here's the thing, because I've been so involved in, like, my aunt's house was haunted as hell growing up. You know what I mean? And like, because I've experienced paranormal since I was born, like, I know the difference between like if it's real or not. And so I'm listening, like, and I have the alien cam on, and I'm like, I hear this like, Crystal, and I'm making these weird faces because I'm like, dude, someone's pulling a prank on me for sure. Like, for sure, this is not real. Like, I had like this snurdy. The worst part is that the home base, which is where Zach and Dave and them were, they could watch me as this was happening live.
Right. Jeez.
So they probably saw this footage.
Just like, what is happening?
They probably saw this footage of me, and I'm like giving them dirty looks. Like, what is going on? So I ended up opening a closet, and I found a producer or a PA or something in the closet hiding. And he didn't expect me to find him.
Wow. What happened?
I was like, what are you doing in there?
Why are you hanging out in the closet?
I was like, what are you doing in there? And then he was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I was trying to get your attention so I could leave.
What?
Like, they basically,
nuts.
he was saying they locked him in there, and he did. And I was like, right. Yeah, I bet you were.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, well, you can go. I was kind of a bitch. I was like, you can go. So he left, and I'm in this room still, and I'm like, because I really, like, the hotel, you've been to Jerome. It doesn't need to be faked.
No, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on.
So I was like in there, I'm like got a flashlight, and I'm like trying to see, like, you know, just you feel the energy. You can always feel where like there's a hot spot, you know, like if you're in tune. And all of a sudden I start hearing my name coming from the hallway.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, and by the way, it's pitch black. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pitch, you can't see anything. You can't see anything. It's pitch black. But I hear something coming from the hallway. And by the way, we have contracts, but like there were nothing. I went back through my contract. Okay. Just so everybody knows, there was no NDA. So I'm free to talk about this. There was a contract, but it doesn't say anything that I couldn't talk about this. So trust me, I know my P's and Q's, just so that's for the record. Because I still have my contract. You know, I have every single one back there.
She really does.
So anyway, yeah, because I'm a bad bitch and I don't throw shit out, you know. So anyway, I'm like, it's pitch black. I can hear something in the hallway, but I'm like, damn it, I know this is not, an entity, you know. So I was at this point, I'm pissed. At this point, I'm pissed off because I just want to, like, let me have an experience, you know. And I go out in the hall. I marched out in the hallway. You know how I get when I'm mad? I was pissed. I march out in the hallway. I turn this corner, and there's a producer there, and he looks horrified that I found him. He's like in shock.
A second one?
A second producer.
Wow.
So if you watch my episode of Paranormal Challenge, there is no solo cam alien footage of me. And the reason is because I called them all out on their bullshit. And I think that Zach knew that I was onto it, and they called me back to home base, and they were like, okay, solo hour is over. I'm like, yeah, I bet it is.
That's nuts. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, once again, does that harm everyone involved with that series? Quite possibly, for, you know, making sure it was legit.
Yeah. Wow.
If that series was done that way, then what happened to everything else? You know, and I remember going upstairs and talking to Aaron and Garrison, and I was like, they totally tried to, like, fake some stuff. And it was at that point where Aaron and Garrison were just like, Garrison was so mad he didn't even want to be there.
That's awful. That is awful.
Because we didn't want to look bad in front of people either on national television, you know what I mean?
Right.
But by the way, all of the evidence we submitted was legit. Like, that was all legit, but...
Right. Well, you don't want to go down with the ship, you know?
Imagine what Dakota knows. He's under NDA, so he can't talk about it. So imagine what Dakota's seen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And let me just say this, too. You know, like, we're in a new era here where I really think that paranormal on television is not going to be a thing anymore. I just don't. And this next wave is going to be all online. And so I have I support Dakota and his crew 100% over anybody. I support Sam and Colby. I've never really watched Sam and Colby. Have you?
No, I haven't.
But I do respect them because they have a lot of numbers. They've done it on their own. Mad respect. Mad respect.
They're doing it. They're literally doing it. And they're building their own brand.
Yep. Mad respect. I also know there's something else I've been told by several people in like production, etc., that the crew that was on Paranormal State, like it was a pretty big crew. I mean, I think Katrina was involved, as we know. I mean, a lot of people. Did you know that the only person that was paid was Ryan?
What?
No. The only person that was paid on set was Ryan. And that's the problem that we have with this whole paranormal community.
That is not okay. Like,
I know.
Wow.
There's so much going on in the paranormal community right now. I can't talk about it, unfortunately. I just can't.
There's just too much to cover.
I don't even think it's done. I don't think it's done.
Yeah. Wow.
But I do want to say, I think that this is the end of the phase 1 of paranormal. I think that phase 2 is coming up, which is going to be all online. There'll be more valid. I think there's going to be more women and females in it. But I just want to give a warning out to women right now, okay? And I'm not naming any names because there's a few people that I would warn you against, but I'm not naming any names, okay? I just want women to, in paranormal, if a dude tries to get with you, I don't care who he is, if he's an investigator, a camera tech, a producer, and he promises you a series, if you sleep with him, he's lying to you, okay? Know your worth. Understand that I'm going to word it like this. For your safety, and I mean quite literally your physical safety, okay? I would advise against staying away from anyone in the paranormal that's a man, with the exception of Dakota and his crew. And Colby. See, I don't know Sam and Colby, but I don't really keep them a part of this because they're very online only. You know what I mean? I really don't think they've immersed themselves enough. I obviously trust Chip Coffey. I trust Amy. I trust Adam. They're gay dudes, and you know.
Right.
But for any other men in paranormal, stay the hell away if you want to remain safe. Okay? Do not be bamboozled by power or money or fame. Do not be easily impressed, okay? Because you might end up in a situation you're really going to effing regret. Listen to me, ladies. Listen to Kat. I'm going to let Kat say it. I know some of you guys like Kat more than me, so Kat knows what's going on right now.
Yeah, watch your back. Watch your back. And be aware of your surroundings and who you network with. Research these people. Truly. Because I think that there's always a facade that's put on, and almost like a glamour situation that's put on with some of these events and some of these people. And it is not safe. It's not what it seems.
Do not go into buildings alone with them. Any of them. Do not go into buildings alone with them. Are you listening to me right now? Do not go into buildings alone at all. I don't care if it's here in Vegas or somewhere else. Do not get caught alone with these people or you might be sorry, okay? And I think that I am the biggest threat to the community because I'm a female and I'm not going to shut up and I'm going to make sure that women stay safe. And, yep, and I can't wait to see what Dakota does. He has nothing but my support. I'm so happy for him for escaping this. I think he was sort of the last person to be a part of this. Also, I've heard through the grapevine, I've made a few calls, and I've heard from some people. I don't think he's been blacklisted, just for the record. Now, he may have been expunged from the particular company and people that he was with previously, but anything beyond that, if he's just having a hard time getting a series signed, he's probably going through the same thing I am, which is the networks just don't understand how to film paranormal.
Paranormal, yep.
Yeah. But
That
I
makes
still
sense.
think individual is the way to go.
Yeah. Sole proprietorship, baby.
Yeah.
Own your stuff.
And I really hope this next generation will not do doggy dog, and I hope that they will just all get along and they won't try to tear each other down. And I think, I just heard, sorry, my guide just said, what's always in the dark will come to light.
Okay.
What's always in the dark will come to light. And if you hear of anything in the future of paranormal crap, know that I already know. Okay? Know that Kat already knows. You don't need to send it to us. Things have not come out in the wash yet, but just know that things that are done in the dark will always come to the light. All right, Josh Gates is coming out with a new, he's on this Discovery documentary about the Titan going down to the Titanic. I don't know if you saw those previews.
No, I haven't seen them yet. I have to check them out.
Oh, I mean, Josh definitely survived the apocalypse of the paranormal, field, thank God.
Right.
I love that guy. I think he's hilarious.
He's one of the few good eggs.
He went in the Titan. I didn't know that.
That's crazy. Oh, you know what? I do remember him talking about that. Didn't he tweet about it or something, talking about his experience last time?
He filmed it. He filmed it?
Wow.
And it's you have to go on, it's on Discovery's social media, but he filmed being inside of the Titan. He required there to be, they weren't in the ocean, they didn't go down very far. I think it was like a lake or something. And he made scuba divers be involved in case they had to pull it up quickly in an emergency. And he said that when he went inside of it, it completely malfunctioned and nothing would work.
You know what's crazy too is I've been seeing recently a lot of like 3D videos of what it might have looked like when the implosion happened, and it's just mind blowing to me. Okay, I know it's kind of like dark.
Likes the dark stuff. Everybody.
Thank goodness nobody probably felt that. Honestly, is what I'm going to say about that. But anyway, I feel like it just blows my mind that they would still allow that to go underwater when they've been having some serious issues with it. Because I've heard even outside of that there were major issues with the Titan.
There was a woman apparently that was an accountant at like the Stockton's place or whatever. He was the CEO. And she was just an accountant, and they came to her and said she was going to be the captain navigating it to the Titanic. And she looks at the camera and she's like, I'm not doing that. I'm the accountant. I don't want to go underwater.
No one wanted to maneuver it. What the heck? That's crazy.
So Josh had taken a notebook and he was writing notes while he was underwater in that thing. And they had a window and he was putting the notes up to the window to the scuba divers to communicate when things weren't working inside of the ship, inside of the sub.
What?
It looks really good. That's all I'm gonna say. It looks really good.
I can't wait.
Although I have no desire. Who would want, the Titanic is out in the middle of the Atlantic. It is ice cold. It is way down there. If you've ever studied the seafloor and how it sort of just keeps dropping, who in their right mind would even what's there to see? It's pitch black. Why do you want to? I don't know. Even if that kind of technology existed, I wouldn't want to go down there personally.
They just posted it recently. I thought I saw it on BBC or something. A legitimate 3D picture of what the wreckage looks like at the bottom of the sea.
I saw that.
It's so clear. Why do we need to see that in person? That just sounds traumatic.
They had some dudes in a green screen standing on what it looked like today and what it looked like then. It was so cool. That's good enough for me. You know what I mean?
I'm just let's look at a picture
to go down there
and not explode. That'd be great. I think they would just not do that.
And let's just be real, not to be vulgar, but those people probably exploded into a billion pieces. Yeah. I think they said they found a couple legs and body parts, but fish came and ate them. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. You know what really gets me outside of that just being an awful tragedy is the fact that one of the sons, wasn't there a son of someone that just refused to go on it?
The 19-year-old was having a meltdown. He didn't want to go. And
my God.
To me, that's connecting to your higher self. When you're getting a message, I need to listen. Don't ever question when you get those gut instincts. Always go with it. Always, always, always.
Oof, oof, oof. It makes me sick when I think about it.
Well, it's true. I mean, not to be vulgar, but think there's 4 or 5 people in there. When it exploded, the blood was probably really bad when it exploded. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
probably just a giant red cloud, but like nothing left.
Have you seen that? Did you see that 3D?
No. Did I see what? I didn't see the
3D
blood
video.
cloud.
No. Cloud. Sorry, I should have clarified. I
was like,
3D,
Kat, I know you like dark stuff, but no, I didn't see that.
The
Jesus.
3D implosion. It's really, I mean, it's fascinating, but also just really messed up. It's really, these people should be sued. The whole company should be sued.
Well, it was the pressure of the water, right? They said it was like, and then like, you know how a scuba tank has like all that like, air in it, and that like if it or like a propane tank when it burst, they said it was 2 to 3 times harder than that, which is like horrifying to imagine. Yeah, I mean, they said that they didn't probably get hurt. They didn't scream. They said it happened in a millisecond.
It's like natural combustion. It
just disappeared into dust, essentially. Can you imagine their spirit teams are waiting for them on the other side, like, you bunch of idiots?
I mean, you think about it, though, these people were really good at manipulating and getting their money and convincing them that it was safe. Like, they were literally...
rich white men, once again, trying to convince everyone that they know better.
Reminds me of those negotiations.
I'm seeing a pattern.
It's fine.
All right, so it's talking about patterns and, hanging women at the stake. I feel like that's a perfect segue.
Let's just go. We're going to go take a hard right and just go right there. Because it's just right there, honestly.
Well, it is a witch hunt still, with, women in paranormal, women in film, women being, manipulated and abused by men with power, pick up what I'm putting down. Yeah. So I thought this would be a really great one. I know we've talked about this before, but I was like, this is just a good one to talk about again. European witch hunts, 1450 to 1750. Up to 60,000 people died. Mainly women, by the way. I mean, it was some women, some men were involved, but very, very rarely.
Yeah, primarily Europe. Started as early. The first recorded was as early as 1400s, and typically, no one was burned at the stake in the U.S. That was not a U.S. thing. Right. That was a Europe thing, UK thing. Also, as far as I knew, there was also when they dropped the witch in the water to see if they would float. I can't remember what that was called. There was a specific name for that. And if they sunk to the bottom, then they were a witch.
Didn't they put rocks or something in them or something? Or like in their clothes?
Sometimes like at the bottom. Again, it's like, what do you expect to happen?
But then if they were to float up, they would have been a witch and they still would have killed her. Right, like, so I die anyways. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
They'd be dead.
Like,
right. Yeah, it's nuts.
Most of them were even midwives, too, which back then, midwives were not only helping with children, but also they were just known as very spiritualists.
And herbalists.
And
medicine.
Herbalists, herbal healing. Mm-hmm. Yep. If you spoke too freely, as a woman, you were also a witch. If you owned property by yourself, they would try to take that away. That was also witchcraft. Mm-hmm. Being unmarried or widowed was also witchcraft because you were seen as not wanted by men. And if you had red hair primarily, it was associated with seduction and Satan, which is exactly why my hair is red right now.
That's why I did red ends, guys. Actually, it's really funny. I was telling Crystal about this recently, that when I was dyeing my hair red at the ends, my literal color number was 666. My hairstylist was like, we can't change this. This is just so you.
You're like, I just wanted to feel Satan in my hair end. You know what I mean?
I did. And then I got fired from my church gig for it. So you know what?
Can you please share that story? Like, I'm not going to pressure you, but I feel like people would really want to hear it, you know?
This is really organic, y'all. Okay, Crystal and I did not talk about this prior to the live stream. I'm so used to living the podcast. Sorry,
because I lost my shit when you told me this happened. I lost my literal shit.
It took me a little bit to explain what happened to her because I feel like I was still processing it at that moment. But my license plate in New Hampshire, my New Hampshire plate is witch. It just says witch on it. VVITCH, mainly because of the horror movie. But as a classical singer, whether you're religious or not, a lot of classical singers will get church gigs. You know, you sing at a Catholic church, whatever denomination. You get to practice lots of Mozart, Handel, whatever music they provide to you, and it's a paid service. So you're just like a contractor. It's not required for you to be someone of the church, parishioner or anything like that. You show up to sing, and you get hired to do so. And it's always been very open that I'm a tarot reader and that, I walk on the occult side and, would look at paganism through the paganism window.
Don't you have two full sleeves? One side Lord of the Rings, the other side is spooky, you think?
Yeah, and like in my little nose ring that I flip up during the church services, okay, all right, just to be professional, because it is a gig still, paid gig. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, mind you, I had this license plate for probably like 7 to 8 months. So it wasn't an issue then for some reason, but a parishioner had an issue with my license plate and they fired me from the gig. And the council told me that I needed to write them a letter stating that I don't practice witchcraft and that I'm not a tarot reader, and to confess my sins if I was, and then they will absolve me and make me a parishioner of the church. Okay.
And you need to repent, right? You have to repent.
Yeah, he kept saying repent, you need to repent, multiple calls, multiple emails, pretty much harassment. And I was just like, eat it. We're not doing that. Mainly because it wasn't within my contract to have like a prior discussion that I needed to be a parishioner. I've been with this church and singing with this church as a paid classical soloist for 5 years. Why is it all of a sudden that I have a license plate? Now I get it. And I know that there are some that will listen to this and say, well, you have a witch license plate outside of a church, of course, duh, okay? And I get that. But also it is still considered discrimination if there was no prior discussion about my services. Like if they had said, if you need to be a parishioner, you need to not have XYZ, then yes, I can see why that would be, perishable. Like fire me. But I have been hired to sing there for 5 years, and I was always professional, never talking about anything occult related. And I kind of had a feeling that something was going to happen because a few months prior to this incident happening, they had actually been including occult mentions in their sermon. So the priest sermons.
Okay, all right. But you weren't even part of the church. You were just a hired contractor.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have had to be pressured to repent. What if that wasn't even your denomination?
Yeah, well, it's nothing. I mean, I don't really have a denomination.
No, but that's what I mean. It's like you weren't if you were crazy. A member, then I can see them being like, hey, you need to repent,
right.
like
and
your
I get
sins.
it. I get it. The license plate outside of a church, all right, it's not a good look.
I don't get it.
But I'm there to sing some Mozart. You know what I mean? And it started turning into a whole thing where other people that started getting in trouble for other things and forced to take communion when they weren't a parishioner. It was a whole thing. So the witch hunt continues. And then there was another tarot reader in Pennsylvania called the Stitching Witch. You should look her up. She's amazing. Owns an occult shop in Pennsylvania. And apparently there are still laws in place where it's a law that you cannot fortune tell. You cannot do tarot reading. And police came and tried to arrest her from her occult shop. So she's still in the process of trying to change legislature and all of that. So you can follow that story on the Stitching Witch. But it's a real thing, and it's really odd when it happens to you and it actually affects a paying job. It's really scary. So to think about what that must have been like in the 1400s, where you really didn't really have any other choice or anywhere else to go. You were either tried and left alone and removed from that community, or you were killed. There was no in between. There was no starting over.
Women didn't have options for jobs. You could be a nurse, you could be a teacher, or a wife, and that's about it.
Right. Yeah. So it's crazy.
Or
it's still
prostitute.
Happening. Yeah.
That's probably what I would have been, just to get some money, get out of there. I'd been I'm out.
Yeah. Back then, absolutely.
Not this life, but that life.
Exactly. We're gonna reiterate that. Not this life, but
not this life. No. Yeah. No. We don't. Men. That's what I always say too, is just, you need to let men work for it. You know what I mean? Don't give it up so easily, and stand your ground, even with what Kat went through. Don't let people run you over, for God's sake. It's 2025. Jesus Lord.
They even told me too that I could come back if I changed my license plate. And I was like, no, I'm not changing my license plate.
That's just ridiculous. I was pissed at Kat. I told her to sue him, but she said she wanted to be done with it. But I'm still pissed. So
I know. I
I
could
sat here
technically
so
sue.
calmly. I'm so glad I've been calm because I'm sitting here like I'm gonna explode in a minute.
Explode. I know. Yeah, it was an experience. It's just it is discrimination. Technically, I could sue them for sure. It's just yeah, that was really traumatic. So
You just want away from him.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm all set. Yeah, we're gonna move on and sing somewhere else. And what's so funny is I actually have like 2 more church gigs somewhere else. Like I'm singing little concerts here and there coming up in the summer and fall. So I'm just
Hey, you don't
I'm
have
getting
to
a
do
little
it.
red now. No, it's hard. It's hard to become like the human music box. I was like my whole family. You know, my whole growing up, they're like sing Christmassy. Yeah, it's the art. The art form in and of itself is beautiful. You know, and it's what's crazy too is like all opera, all early music was written sacredly, you know, through the church. And I don't have an issue singing the text by any means, given the window that I look through, you know. But they have an issue with me singing it. So, kind of crazy.
That's the control, though. That's like, you know, the problem that I've had with. I mean, I was baptized in Lutheran church because my family was Lutheran Christian, but I can't practice it because, like, I don't. You know, my mom raised me like you don't have to go to God's house to talk to him. You know what I mean? And even then, just seeing what I've seen on the other side and like having so many interactions now with the other side with my new abilities, like I can see my guides right now and they're just shaking their head at everything you said because it's repulsive. It's a fear-based control of let me get you back in line with the fear of like, oh, God won't forgive you because you're doing satanic practices. It's like, oh. But then once again, what I always refer back to is the pot calling the kettle black. How many priests have been in trouble in the Catholic Church for like diddling little boys and shit?
The Pope we have
you
had
there?
that accusation. No, the new Pope.
In your church?
But Pope Leo has had those accusations put on him.
Oh, I haven't heard the new one? Oh, shit. I didn't know that. Well, there's my freaking, that's what I keep saying. You're busy looking at a cat with her tattoos and her tarot cards. Why don't you go check out your men and where their peen is and maybe castrate everybody so that then they can be holy to God, for God's sake. Shit, don't get me started.
They're just very concerned about my soul and my well-being, practicing the devil's work, which honestly sounds way more fun than sitting in
I'm
church.
telling you, I'm not a lesbian. I am not a lesbian. And sometimes hearing this shit makes me want to be, and I'm not. I'm not a lesbian. They're like, God.
It's just exhausting, you know, to constantly be in a society and world, you know, that is judgy like this. In any
Women
in
are
any
demonized.
aspect.
Women are
And
demonized.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Nope, I agree. It's still going on. So red hair was seen as the mark of the devil in many cultures. Oh, God. Well, here I am, bitch.
Well, and it was so natural. Red hair too is still so rare, you know. But yeah, it's wild. You're here to make a statement.
Oh, I'm going to take everybody out, and I'm ready for it. A lot of women with red hair were also associated with the Lilith archetype. So obviously, the story of Lilith. Do you know the story of Lilith?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell it?
You tell it.
Why do I have to tell it? Because of the red hair?
Mm-hmm.
So Lilith was, why am I laughing? She was temptation and rebellion. And essentially she said no to Adam. So that turned her into a demon. Does that sound legit to you?
Yeah, of course they're going to demonize the one woman that rejects the only man in the world. I mean, come on. You know what I mean?
So he was rejected and God said, since you rejected my man, you will now be a demon. What? Are you, come on now.
A demon, I know. But look at that. See, that was so much better coming from a redhead. I mean, look at me with my boring brown hair. You know what I'm saying? It's laughable. And I've also heard some theories as well that Adam was actually the one that bit the apple but blamed it on Eve. Interesting. And what's also interesting is I actually had this conversation with my boyfriend recently, but I didn't even think about this. I think we were in the Lizzie Borden house when we were talking about this, about Adam and Eve. And he was saying that he finds it really interesting that the Apple logo is a literal bitten apple, like Eve.
Oh, never thought about
and
that.
And it's always like, you know, knowledge, right? So the apple was like the apple of truth and always demonized. So I really see that as like symbolic with the company itself of being that apple of truth. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
I mean, it's just so ancient, old. Like, you know, the original scripture is Mesopotamian, obviously coming back from Sumerians, and it was literally like Bible, you know, verses in the Bible written on stone. And there's parts of those that are missing. They've been missing. It's claimed that, you know, I guess conspiracy theory that, you know, that Catholicism in Rome has taken parts of those and hidden them underground because they don't want people or mankind to know the truth of sort of where they came from, because it was sort of manipulated in the favor of the patriarchy to always have a woman walk 10 steps behind a man. And obviously that was in religion, and it's in every day. It's not getting paid the same as a man. Like it's affected the society so deeply at this point everywhere, that it would destroy all religions if that came out as being false. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's true. There's a lot behind the curtains, especially in the Catholic faith, that is not coming to light because of those reasons. There was one thing, I was going to mention this too. I found it really fascinating to me that the prior pope, was it Paul? I'm really bad at keeping up with this because I'm just like vehemently against anything religious at this point. I think it was Paul, right? Pope John Paul. Number.
You're the Catholic dude. I don't know.
Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore. Okay, the last pope we just had. Okay, leave them in the comments.
Oh, it was the one that just died. Okay.
Yeah,
Pope
the
John
most recent
Paul
one that died. I think it was Paul. Paul number 5 or Paul something. I don't know. Anyway, he banned the Latin Mass in Catholic.
Oh, that's right.
Which I found, I think we talked about this once briefly. I found that very interesting because while I'm like vehemently against organized religion, I do think that there is something with the Latin language and there being something centered around like imbuing and invoking things, you know, within spell work or, you know.
Women used to be put in asylums for having hard periods, novel reading, Kat. Nymphomania, hysteria, which is basically could have been anxiety, depression of any sort. Over-education, you could be thrown in an asylum. Uterus problems, any type, doesn't matter. If you masturbated, you would also be thrown in an asylum by your husband. If you were disobedient or widowhood, you would be thrown in, your husband could lock away the key.
That's fucking, oops. That's crazy. Just to bleep me out. That makes me so mad. That makes me so mad.
Period pain was considered female hysteria. They were medically gaslit.
Wow. So we just can't exist. So pretty much the species is just there to procreate.
In fact, the word hysteria, I found this interesting, comes from a Greek word, hystera, which is uterus, implying a woman's womb made her irrational.
That's a new one. Wow. That is ridiculous.
So they wouldn't treat the pain. They would just put her in an institution, and that was it.
You know, needs to get some peace and quiet.
Amen. Except for then there was abuse by the medical.
Yeah,
you know
okay,
what I mean?
that's
then
dark.
You were like R-worded by the med team and stuff.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's dark. It's some scary stuff. It's like you really just couldn't even exist, honestly, as a woman.
Well, it's like today's archetypes are like, if you were witchy, intuitive, spiritual in any way, they wanted to extinguish you. Red hair, all beauty. If you were alternative in any way, they didn't want you. If you had psychic gifts, it was a death sentence.
Which is wild because read the Bible. But we won't dive into that.
Yeah.
We won't dive into that. Not today.
Kat's like, we can't go back. Lilith will come in.
I'm triggered. That's fine.
So anyway, I mean, it's just, my point is that the reason I colored my hair, and I'll let Kat have a tangent too, and then we'll kind of end the podcast, but I colored my hair because I feel like women have been suffering long enough that are in this industry, whether it's paranormal, psychic, medium, witchy, alternative, goth, you would have been hung at the stake too. You know what I mean? And that was one of the reasons I colored my hair red, because I was like, we're going to honor what these women couldn't. I had this dream, actually. It was crazy. Like at the end of April, I was thinking about, I couldn't decide, like, should I just go ahead and go for it and color it, or should I just not do it? And I had a dream I was on the other side, and hundreds of women showed up that had been persecuted on this planet, and they were all pointing at me, waiting for me to color my hair red.
Wow.
I'm dead serious. And it wasn't pressure and it wasn't fear. I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to do it to represent y'all. I'm going to help y'all out. You know what I mean?
That's powerful.
And then I was like, okay. And they were like, we walk with you. We stand with you. You're not alone. We walk with you. And I was
amazing.
Okay, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Boss bitch energy.
Yeah, I'm not messing around this time, so don't play me. But I mean, what's your opinion on everything? It's like, it's just time for, you have to speak up and not be silenced.
It's time to speak your truth without fear, you know, especially as a woman. I feel like it's ingrained in our, you know, chemistry at this point, you know, that through past lives, we have experienced a lot of trauma in regards to, you know, just being a woman and existing as one. And, you know, it's time to utilize platforms and your voice to speak your truth, because community matters and community movements matter, and calling out the bad matters, especially in numbers, you know. So utilize your voice always, even when it's hard, even when it shakes a little bit, doing the right thing for you and for other people. You know, you might be helping others that you didn't even realize needed the help, you know, in order to feel valid in their situations, or, you know, if they feel like they've been through something that you have, you know, that's healing in and of itself. So you don't have to navigate things alone.
That's what happened last week. I posted that podcast and I heard from people I was not expecting to hear from.
Yeah, it's powerful. Community is powerful. Your voice is powerful. It's just, you know, men that have made us feel like we can't use it. You're powerful. Never forget that.
It's true. Yeah, I don't care. Dude's just like, dude, start putting some, like, you know, expectations on these dudes. You know, it's like general statement. Like, if you're going to go date a guy or sleep with a dude, make him work for it, bro. Make him work for it. Make him take you out several times first. Don't just jump in bed. Don't be desperate like that to lose him, because that means you're lacking within yourself. You got to love yourself first before you can add a partner in, you know? And you got to make him work for it if you want him to stick around. Now, if you're looking for like one night stands, that's something else. You know what I mean? But if you're really trying to be in love and be happy, you got to find somebody that wants to work for it. Like, I make these dudes work, girl. Work it, girl.
Work.
Kat knows my dating history, so she knows I don't mess around.
It's true. She don't.
I'm mean. I'm just kidding. I'm not mean.
No, you're not
kind
mean.
of.
No, you're not mean. You have boundaries. Boundaries are not mean.
I have high expectations. Yeah, I have high expectations, and I am a lot. It's hard because I'm very much a boss when it comes to like production, paranormal, my life, my businesses, my money. But then when I'm at home, I want to be in my feminine energy, and I've had guys in the past that don't really know how to respond to that, because they're like, oh, she's a boss during the day, and then she wants me to be the boss at night, and they're like, and then they're gonna put me on a shelf. And so I am a lot. I'm a spitfire, and you ain't seen nothing yet, ho.
Amen.
Don't mess with me, ho. Not you, Kat, obviously. General
it's okay.
Statement.
You can call me a hoe. It's okay.
It's okay. You can call
it's
me
a term of endearment.
Just say general statement. General statement. Don't mess with the VVITCH, okay?
It's true. VVITC.
Hey, last thing before we go, can we talk about one last thing really quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
You've practiced witchcraft. I've practiced witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that with black magic or dark magic that you can put spells on people, or like you could curse them?
I think intention is everything when doing spell work and manifesting. But I think that it happening to somebody else, like if something were happened to me, I would need to have allowed that, like to believe in that. You know what I mean? Like I would need to make sure I put protections into place to say, actually, that wouldn't ever affect me. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you almost in an energy sense, you would have to allow that to happen to you. in a way. But it is still...
You have to plug into that vibration. You have to agree for that to happen.
Right. So when you're doing protections and when you're, doing that work, telling yourself, like, nothing will harm me, I am protected, I am safe, I'm calling my power back to me, I'm calling my energy back to me, and utilizing those practices is huge. Because if you believe in that timeline and you believe in that energy, then everything else will just bounce off, is what I believe.
Yeah, I've asked my guides this question. I've asked them, can people curse you? Can people do? And they were like, well, if you have a belief. So if I were to say, I'm afraid, Kat, I'm scared. There's a voodoo priestess after me who's working with a Dybbuk box, who's trying to curse me. If I believe that, then if they curse me, it will happen. Let me tell you what, guys. We are so protected in spirit. Remember, this reality doesn't exist right now. We are in spirit form right now, having a dream where we're on earth. That's literally what's happening right now, okay? And yes, I know, because I've woke up on the other side, okay? So I do this every night. So you're in spirit form right now, having a dream that you're here. You are creating your own reality. And that means if you buy into a belief system and believe you can be cursed, then you will. Then it's accurate. The problem is that you're a mirror. So if you believe you're cursed, it's because you're pulling that in towards you. You're mirroring that to the universe, and the universe is going to match that energy. Okay. So as a general statement, do I believe that black magic and dark magic exists? Yes. Do I believe you can be cursed? Only if you agree to it, and I don't agree to it. I am way too powerful to be cursed, personally. Is that how you feel, Kat?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm way too powerful and protected to be cursed. Girl, I've walked through hellfire already.
It's a great
Nothing
song.
can get me.
By the way.
Yeah.
Twist it back to music.
Cat's like, by the way.
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Metal
The same. Yeah, Hellfire.
So anyway, I just want everyone to know that you hold the power and don't think anyone else does.
Yeah. You hold
No one on this earth can play God except you with yourself.
Amen.
You are Christ consciousness. That's where the Bible got it wrong. You don't have to go to church to pray to God. You are Christ consciousness. Your higher self is Christ. You are Christ conscious. Anyway, I'm done. I'm going to stop rattling. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We could have gone for hours, honestly.
Really,
right,
honestly,
Kat?
before Lilith popped in,
Lilith came in and was like, I'm shutting it down because I'm mad too. I'm like, yikes. Well, go get them, Lilith. Just
kidding. You go, boo.
This will be uploaded for all streaming platforms. Oh, also, in the next week or two, we're going to start doing little side podcasts, I think, like 15, 20-minute side podcasts for Patreon subs only. That will be uploaded on Wednesday. Wednesday Patreon subs starting like in another week will get access to podcasts first on Wednesdays, and then it'll be uploaded on public on Fridays. Love you guys, because we need this money because we're ready to investigate again, and we're going to keep helping put the patriarchy on fire, except for Dakota.
Except for Dakota. We're going to light everything else on fire. Except for Dakota and Aaron Goodwin.
Yeah. Oh, I love Aaron, don't you?
Yeah, he's great.
He's my favorite, honestly.
He's such a goofball. I love it.
He's my favorite. Yeah, maybe he could come on as a guest one day with us, because I think he's just the best, smartest one out of all of them.
He's great.
Okay. I love you guys. We will catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Ghost Girl Diaries. Thank you so much for joining me in my crypt. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the ghostly adventures continue. And also don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. You can search for Crystal Leandra or Ghost Girl Diaries. Please support me on both. This is where you can catch exclusive content, behind the scenes footage, and stay up to date on all things paranormal and glam. And as always, stay curious, stay fearless, and stay spooky. And I'll catch you next time on Ghost Girl Diaries, where the dead never rest, and neither do we. Until then, my ghoulish friends, sweet screams.
Welcome back. It's like I was saying at the beginning, there's a lot of dangers out there with what we do. You have to deal with the homeless. You have to deal with miscommunication with law enforcement. You even have to deal with those people who just hide in these abandoned locations, these old factories, these cemeteries, whatever the case may be, that are hiding from the law. And if you accidentally stumble upon, anything can happen. I give a lot of kudos to these young women that make up a lot of these teams. And the size of their cojones. Because I know my own wife and daughter, there's a lot of these places they wouldn't even go into, let alone go in there with just one or two other women and no men around, just in case. What did you think about this interview between Crystal and Kat? What about the information that was dropped on paranormal television? You heard him many times mention Dakota. I've always been a huge fan of Destination Fear and what they do. Dakota, his sister, their friends that go out to these locations. Some good stuff. Now they're right here on YouTube, where we can watch them anytime we want. That's something I've taken advantage of a couple times. But that's all we got for you this week. I really hope you enjoyed this little look at Ghost Girl Diaries, Crystal, and her BFF Kat. They covered a lot. A lot of it was kind of shocking. But good listening nonetheless. Until next week, take care of yourselves and each other. And happy hunting.